What's up, everybody? My name is Bobby, aka Lumberjack Smack, and today we are talking about Super Robot Wars T. I don't know anything about Super Robot Wars, but I'll tell you who does. Chase Kinnicky does. And he's here with us.
I am. I'm back.
You're back because I couldn't get enough of you, one, and I was tired of hearing about something I didn't know anything about.
Bobby, I'm so excited, and I feel like I need to apologize to you because I don't know if this is going to be a game for you.
I mean, Chase, who is Super Robot Wars for?
It's for me.
Okay.
It's for weeaboos.
Weeaboos. All right, so let's tee this up here.
Yes.
This game is not available stateside.
Correct. It is available in English, but it's not available stateside.
So you had to essentially bring this in overseas, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of sites out there that can do this stuff legally for sure.
Yeah.
Like this, I got this from PlayAsia.
Okay.
There are plenty of other places that can do these things kind of too. So here's the deal: this game is a turn-based strategy game,
Okay.
akin to like a Fire Emblem
Got it.
or a Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
But it deals with licensed anime. Specifically mech anime.
Okay.
As you can see on this
Is that
thing.
Gundams?
This is the Gundams.
Gundams,
yes. From a lot of different series. This is from Zeta Gundam. But there's a lot of series in here. And that is why these games don't come to America.
Sure.
Because getting one license, not all that big of a deal. We've
Right.
had Gundam games come over to the States before. Getting Gundam and Gunbuster, which is an anime I've never heard of, and a ton of other different animes. You get to that point, like back on the Wii, there was Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that game was going to come over because it had all those Japanese TV characters in it. Amazingly, that one did. That doesn't happen very often, and that's why these games don't come over, because the licensing is just ridiculous. So what they do, they make an English language version for Hong Kong and those Southeast Asian areas that do speak English. And then they say, hey, by the way, if you want to import it, you're totally allowed to.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of how they get around the licensing issues.
So it's English subtitled.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Still Japanese voice actors, and then So you can still read everything. Translations haven't been great.
Okay.
This is a long-running series. The first one I played was the last game, which is Super Robot Wars X, and that was on PS4.
Okay.
This one is available for Switch.
And why wouldn't you play it there?
Exactly. It's honestly a great way to play this game. And tactics games in general. Okay,
So for me, as somebody who is very new to anime, if new is even like a level, I know nothing about this, but you think in your heart that there's a piece of me that might enjoy this.
I think... I don't know. I honestly don't know if there's anything that you'd really enjoy about this. I think you'll enjoy this part that we're watching now.
Okay.
Like, these attack animations are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they look really wild.
When you go from a game like Pokemon, that is, I'm doing this pixelated fire attack, and it's going over the top of a sprite, and nobody's really moving or anything. Pokemon's gotten better about that, but it's still like, I shoot my attack, and now the camera switch happens, and you see the attack hit a thing.
Right.
But this game looks like the robots are actually tearing each other up.
Well, let's get into it.
When we get into the actual maps, the maps will look terrible.
Okay.
So I'm going to load up, I don't know where these old saves are, but we're going to load up an old save and just see what we get. Oh, Bobby.
Oh my God.
This game has this series, but this game especially, has so many mechanics.
I mean, there's, how many we got? 15 buttons here we can select from?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. So you have pilots. And all these pilots have mechs that they're in. Some pilots can switch out of mechs because they can, because of story stuff, or their own anime story stuff. Some of them are locked. Like Spike, if you are a big fan of Cowboy Bebop, which is a popular anime.
I've heard of it.
Spike is Spike Spiegel. He's from that show.
Oh, he's a skill set cowboy.
He has the skill set cowboy, which I can't show you what that means on this screen, but I can go to a different menu and show you what that means.
Is he your favorite?
I like Spike a lot. I'm a Cowboy Bebop fan more than the other animes that are available in here. That's one I actually knew before going in that wasn't a Gundam. And I don't even really know much about Gundam other than they're called Gundams. So you have some guys. There are so many pilots. There's so many pilots, and then there are so many mechs. You can go to the mechs because different mechs can have different
pilot
pilots.
Whatever you want to.
Not everything. So we can go to change pilot. So there's in Gundam I have learned there's something called the universal system or something. So basically all Gundams, no matter how many crazy weapons and things that are on them, they all control in universe similarly. So basically pretty much anybody can drive any Gundam in one way.
Yeah.
There are some
I don't like it.
There are some reasons that some people couldn't. So yeah, I could switch out and say, oh, I think one of these people should drive this, should be the pilot of this Gundam instead of Rue over here. I think it's Rue. I don't watch this Gundam.
Get out of here, Rue.
So, or these Mazingers are all similar. So these three guys can pilot any of these three mechs.
Okay.
But not like this is of all the characters I have, these are the only mechs that allow me to switch out people.
Okay. Do you have a favorite right now?
I like Spike a lot for sure.
As far as the mechs go,
this is also a little far back. So I think said chapter 14. Yes, chapter 14. Mm-hmm. On my real save, I'm on like chapter 29. This game has like over 50 chapters, I think. So there's a lot. There's a lot. This one is basically my favorite. This is the Zeta Gundam. It's just super strong. Yeah. It's got a lot of stuff. Here it's weapons. So these are like Pokemon attacks. But
they all be equipped?
They're all equipped at the same time, for sure. And then they have damage values, and then they have range values, so you can only use them at certain ranges. And then sometimes there are weapons that you can only use... you can't use when you've made a move.
There's a lot of numbers on the screen.
There's a lot of numbers, Bobby. There's a lot of stuff. Let's just.
Does it make? I just want to see it in action.
You can customize these mechs. I've more or less customized this one out, so he's got better stats than everything. You can get power parts, which are kind of like the accessories or stuff in RPGs that allow you a little extra stuff in there. Okay. So there's lots of stuff. There's this supporter. I think these supporters are new for this game. I don't remember them in X.
He looks like he's seen some shit.
These are people who are not fighters.
Wife's tender, loving care.
Yes. They'll give you different abilities in battle. It's like having a bunch of not free abilities, but they're not tied to any one character. So I can make any of these happen. This is Ed. Ed is from Cowboy Bebop as well.
Okay.
So she can give plus 20 sight to all allies for one turn. That could be helpful for you, maybe. I don't know.
But is it deeper than the sea?
Oh, Bobby. There's so much. There's so much in this game. God. So I can then add skills to pilots. I can say, I like this Camille guy a lot, but I think I want to give him this ability that decreases his energy consumption, so he can do more of his attacks more often. Or I can just go up and do straight up parameter stuff and say, I want your close quarters battling to be higher, or I want you to be better at hitting opponents. There's so much stuff. All right, let's jump in.
Because I was going to say, like, that, you could probably spend a long time.
You can tinker a lot.
And you like to tinker.
I do enjoy tinkering in RPGs and games like this. Okay, next thing. Yeah. The story is massive. It's a giant crossover, so the story is bad.
Okay.
Bad. Yeah, let's say bad.
Okay.
But they try to find a way, and it's admirable that they try to find a way to include as many of the actual stories from these animes as possible, and then find in-universe reasons for these people to actually know each other. X was kind of like, oh, we're all from different dimensions, and we just kind of got thrown together. Right. This one finds more ways of going like, oh, well, they're over in that part of the area, and now that we're over there, we can see them. There's a lot of text before these battles. We do not need to read through this because it's very much not important.
Are they trash talking?
Well, what do you call trash talking? They're not trash talking in the traditional sense. The writing is pretty trash, though.
Okay.
They've done better with the translation on this one. Apparently, they brought in a fan translator, and then that person has helped to add a little bit more personality or to make them feel a little bit more like the show people. You can do some things to have the text skip on its own. You can also go back and see, I missed what everybody said. Let's do that. Here's another cool thing that I really like. This is something I first saw in Golden Sun Dark Dawn for the DS, which is maybe the only claim to fame that game has, other than that I like it. That's not really claim to fame.
You love Golden Sun.
I do love Golden Sun. But whenever you see these blue pieces of text in this, you can hit a button and then go over to any of these and go, I want to know more about Mr. Shiratori. I don't know who the hell that is. Now they'll tell you, here's Mr. Shiratori. And when you have a bunch of anime thrown together, animes that you do not know anything about, it's nice to get a little bit of like, okay, this guy's dead, or the older brother, and he's dead, and you can learn about the Lizard War.
What were the casualties of the Lizard War?
I have no idea. I did not watch this anime.
What about a hot-blooded coup?
Let's see what the hot-blooded coup is. It refers to a coup d'etat where the Jovian Empire's moderate faction exiled the organization and resistance faction's top Vice Admiral Kusakabe. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that we didn't know that already.
Yeah, I mean, you're part of the Jovian Empire, so of course you would know all about it.
Too hot-blooded to believe.
Anyway, so it is cool that there is like a little glossary dictionary in there that can tell you how some of this stuff works. But yeah, you don't, unless you know all of these animes by heart, you don't have to really care.
Now, you played the other one on PlayStation.
Yes.
How does the one on the Switch hold up as far as...
Totally fine.
It's good?
I've seen... these aren't super intensive games graphically. Yeah. It's mostly just these anime talking heads, and then we get into the cool battle animations, but it's nothing really that hard.
And are you playing this more handheld?
I've been playing it both ways.
Yep.
I probably more handheld just because it's easier to play anywhere, but it looks nice on a TV too. Like there's a pretty crisp character portraits, and they. I mean,
it looks great.
This part looks okay. You get tired of seeing these same character portraits, but they honestly have a lot of different facial animations in these, more than I expected them to, more than X. I don't know how to skip out of these. Oh, here we go. Skip, long skip, D-pad and L. D-pad and L. No. No, we're just gonna skip.
We're getting through it. So it is narrative heavy.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say the narrative's good. So
sure,
but it is narrative heavy, and they will kind of retell some things.
He looks like Disco Ken.
Yeah, that's Ryoma. He's been in jail for a very long time because this guy threw him in jail, but now they need him because apparently that's what happened in that anime that I didn't watch.
We're sorting it out.
They're getting there. So hopefully we'll see. Yep. Okay. Now you're actually going to get to a fight. When you see this screen, the talking is more or less over. Not always over, but more or less over. This is a lot of stuff.
There's a lot going on here.
So play 2. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Play
She's bad. These guys are bad. These guys are Gundam people.
Are they on the same team?
They're on the bad team.
Okay.
I imagine.
Okay.
Neo Zeon or whatever. I feel so bad for people who actually care about these animes. I don't know who Master Asia is. I think he's from G Gundam. I think. But Master Asia, what a great name.
Master Asia with the slick pony.
Yeah, his mech is really rad. Okay, then you get to victory conditions here. So I need to defeat all enemies within 6 turns. If any ally is defeated. These don't change all that often. Sometimes you'll need to kill a specific unit or do a lot of damage to a specific unit. Mostly, sometimes they'll let allies be defeated. It's not Fire Emblem where it's permadeath.
Okay.
But
they can come back?
Yeah, they can come back. But then usually they don't want your big ships, your gun ships to go down. Those will be a problem. And then they'll give you a little bit of advice at the bottom. It's not always that helpful, but sometimes it can be. So like,
it's shocking how many screens it took to get to this point.
Yes, it's a lot. So this is one of the big warships. So you definitely don't want these to go down. Okay, so different mechs can move different numbers of spaces.
Okay.
So like this is that larger ship, and this guy can move way more because he's a smaller guy with. You can see his stats here, his movement and all that, whatever. Okay.
So you're just floating around in space.
Yeah, so right now it's just my 2 units against all of these units. And they say, hey, by the way, can you finish this in 6 turns? And I go, that doesn't sound right. But I believe things happen in this mission to have more stuff happen. So I'll just move these guys a little closer.
Okay.
And now that I've moved my guys, now I'll end my phase. Oh, I still have 1 unit that I can use? Oh, can I use Master Asia? Oh, that's it. I get to use Master Asia this time. So then I can use Master Asia. Okay, we get to see an attack. So he's moved, so he cannot use his Darkness Shot or Darkness Finger because you have to be stationary before you can use those attacks. But he can use Master Cloth. So I'll use it on this. I've got a 100% chance to hit. He has an 11% chance to hit back, so I feel pretty okay about that.
Yeah.
I can use Spirit Commands, which are extra skills. You see that SP meter there?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not always full at the beginning of a map, but sometimes it's not. There are lots of things even I don't understand.
He doesn't seem very masterful right now.
I agree, but I can use any of these things. So Persist lets him decrease the damage taken for 1 battle if he gets hit. Intuition triggers these 2 things. Bullseye lets you hit 100% of the time for a single fight. Flash makes the enemy's hit percentage go down to 0 for a single fight. So Intuition is super good, and sometimes you'll really need to use it because you're not always hitting 100%.
Sure.
So we'll just move to a battle here. He'll say some stuff sometimes. A lot of you, honestly. And then we get to the coolest part about this game, the battle animations. And you can speed these up if you want to, but we're going to watch this one to begin with. Look at this mech. Look at this mech. He's got like some...
He's got a lightsaber blanket.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he just whipped the hell out of that dude. And then he's just doing kicks.
That mech has a little bit of range.
And then they're in space, and yet somehow he threw him to the ground. And then he did a bunch of damage. And
he literally killed him with 1 hit.
Yeah. Well, but, like, look how much better that looks than Pokemon.
There was a lot of hits there, but 1 move, he dropped him.
Yes. So, pretty rad. And then, he'll gain experience from killing an enemy. He'll gain funds from killing an enemy. On the top right there, you see the X count. There will be special things that you can do if you get that up different tiers. There are different special things that you can do that aren't Spirit Commands that will, they're called X Commands or XC Commands, and they'll allow you to do extra things once you get that up. There are different ways of getting that meter up. Killing enemies is one of those ways. You also see that score. So there's another mechanic in this game where you can get ace pilots. And that pilot gets ace status when they've taken down 50 enemies. And when they get ace status, if you have a special thing on them called Proud Ace, which is a skill that you can buy.
Why wouldn't you be proud of them?
It gives them an extra ability. Like maybe they gain an extra 30% chance to hit on every attack.
That's awesome.
And they're all different for each pilot.
Okay.
So it kind of makes you want to use each pilot and say, well, I wonder what this guy is going to get. And the mechs have it too. Like if you get up to 50% customization on a mech, if you upgrade its stats enough, it will gain something extra. That's awesome. Those will all be connected to the mech. So when you can change pilots, maybe you can find a combination of this pilot skill and this mech skill make for this really potent
Now, can you
combo.
link up and do combo attacks side by side with other mechs?
Yes.
Okay.
If you buy the right skill programs.
Got it. Okay.
Some of them can, some of them can't, and some of them you can turn into be that.
Okay.
All right, we'll end a phase, and now you'll get to see a bunch of enemies move. And if they're not in range, they're just going to keep moving. This one's in range, so I'm probably going to kill this one. 37%. You know, I feel okay about this one,
Sure.
so we're just going to go. I'm going to hold the A button and show you how these go a lot faster.
Okay.
So it's still doing the animations. He did hit me, which is bullshit. He only had 37% chance. And now he's going to do a different attack. I'm going to slow this one down so you can watch it because it's rad.
Right.
He's just going to throw a big ball of energy into this guy's chest and then drag him across the ground even though they're in space.
Oh my god. This is brutal.
And then he's going to pose while it does a critical hit.
Well,
And
what else are you supposed to do? You know, like you can't just stand there.
And then he explodes again.
So they're done.
Yeah, that guy is now off the field.
Okay.
And that's how I might get through this within 6 turns, is because if they just keep throwing themselves at Master Asia's pretty strong. All right, let's try this one as well. So the really fun part I find is seeing the different battle animations for enemies and for me. Like this big dumb mech is going to shoot out some big cyclone, I guess, and I dodged it because he only had like a 31% chance to hit. And now Akito is gonna like do some long range shooting in his big weird ass black mech. I don't know what he's from, and that one hit. That mech had an ability called Distortion Field on it, which means it will pay a little bit of energy and it will decrease the damage that happens to it on energy attacks, like those cannons. It's really dense with mechanics in here. This guy's super strong. So, okay, I might use the Spirit Command on this one. I might use Persist because I feel like this guy's going to do a lot of damage to me. I don't want him to do that much damage. So we'll start that one.
He's already clearly going to be stronger.
Oh, yes. Like, just look at him. He's part of Hokushin 6. What are you going to do about that? I don't. But I have Distortion Field, so that's going to make the attack not as strong. And then I also did
so he only did 214.
Exactly, because I took away 80% of the damage that he was going to do, and now he's going to do a different attack. Okay, this attack's pretty cool too. Sometimes the really cool attacks will have extra anime scenes to them, but he missed because he didn't have a very.
So it's over?
That thing is over, yes, and now these guys don't seem to want to move, so they're just going to let me have another turn now. Oh, but now more anime is happening. So, okay, here's my full team now. Okay. Now, on this turn, now I can bring in a bunch of people.
How are you going to do this in 6 turns?
Yeah. I didn't know either, and then I gained all these dudes. So I could have the Gundam Rose show up. I think he's from G Gundam. Like, looking through these mechs, just the mechs are so cool. Like, black... Big Volfog. I mean, you gotta have Big Volfog.
I mean, yes. Why wouldn't you?
Spike is great. Yeah. So it's weird. Cowboy Bebop doesn't have mechs per se. They have these gunship kind of things. But I think it's just because this anime is so cool and so many people liked it that they found a way to bring it in. So there are smaller ships for sure. There's also different sizes of ships.
Got it.
So you can see somewhere in here, I think. Does it say medium somewhere? Small? No. Doesn't look like it.
Unit info.
Oh, it might be under mech info.
Yeah, size small.
Okay, yeah. So size small. Other mechs, like this one, is size medium. If I can find... this guy's like 1 large. So
yeah, he looks big.
What happens is, if you have a mech that is smaller, as a size category smaller, it does less damage to a bigger thing.
Sure, makes sense.
So your big gunships are really defensive, and they also have a bunch of HP. So that's...
Does the bigger ones do more damage on smaller ones?
I believe that is the case.
Okay.
But then you can also have... Let me try to find... Yeah, let's go back here. So... Yeah... No, he doesn't have it. Okay. Some characters have a skill called Ignore Size. And you can stack that a number of times, and if you do that, then they can take categories above and above and above. So I think on my later save, I've maxed out his ignore size. So even though Spike is in this very tiny ship, he can still do big damage to other characters.
Totally.
At this point, we shouldn't even really show any more battles.
No, I get it.
But I can just start bringing in more dudes and just bring them out.
So what is the cost of this game?
This is a full $60 game, and it's going to cost even more because you're importing it. They're going to make you pay a little bit more then and to ship it. Shipping from PlayAsia usually takes like around 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
But
now, this game seems really hard to approach.
Yes. I love Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I love Advance Wars.
Yeah.
And when I started playing X on the PlayStation, I was immediately lost and thought this is... I don't know what this is. I like these robots.
Yeah.
These games always start out really easy. They do give you a very small set of mechs and then let you gain more as you go on.
Sure.
And sometimes they have some like really really hidden ways of unlocking new mechs. These games are so dense with things that you can do. Which is interesting. Let me try to get back to the actual turns. So I can... Okay, these guys are going to do more stuff. Don't worry about any of these people. It's just Gundams. It's just anime.
Yeah, it's just anime.
Oh, okay. Now more bad guys are showing up.
It's getting wild.
That's probably not great. This is all bad. So the mech designs are really cool. The combat animations are really cool. This map looks bad. It just looks... It's flat, and it's like, look at that border. It's not even a border. It's just saying, like, flat earthers will love this game, right?
I mean, I've been looking for...
Like, I can see a curvature of an earth, but you can also see that this map is completely flat.
Yeah, 100%.
So again, let's skip through this. I wish I could remember what the long skip is or able to figure that out, but it's not. It doesn't seem to be working for me.
Well, I do understand that you can probably do this in, the 6 turns.
Totally. All right, so I'm back to the grid thing. I can move on any of these spaces.
You can?
Yeah. Like, even though there's this big colony thing that's in the middle of this map, it's under the map, I guess.
Right.
So it's just big and flat and open and empty.
Like Earth.
But, so, like, when I play an Advance Wars game, or when I play Fire Emblem, there are mountains, and you go slower through mountains. Or you cannot go through mountains if you're on like a mounted unit. Or
you might be able to see more things on that mountain.
Exactly, like Fog of War stuff. This game doesn't have Fog of War. This game doesn't have bottlenecks. There's no bottlenecks that you can like. There's the strategy here is one very dense because there's so many mechanics at play, but also extremely shallow in that it's just one side of mechs and another side of mechs on flat maps. It's the final destination of strategy games, and some of that can be super boring.
Yep.
Like, it'd be really nice if there was any sort of elevation or obstacles that were in the way of these things, and there hardly ever is. I think there are a couple maps. Not everything's in space. Sometimes they take place on planets, and sometimes there will be forest tiles. And like forest tiles will give you extra defense or hit a void, and like that's kind of nice, but those also look flat and boring. And then like sometimes there's a big building that's actually like on the side of the map that you'll never really have to deal with, but you can't stand on that.
No,
but,
for sure.
Ugh.
So I mean, like you can literally move your shit anywhere you want to.
Totally. Like let's watch a Cowboy Bebop thing because they're rad.
Okay.
So I can't use Plasma Cannon because I moved. I can't use Bebop Formation because I don't have the morale for it.
What?
Morale is another thing you get by killing enemies or doing some other things to upgrade your morale. We're going to show the Bebop Formation 2 is amazing. This animation is great. If you love the Cowboy Bebop anime, this is kind of like the intro to the show with a bunch of cool silhouettes and stuff going on. Whenever you do an attack with these characters, like you'll be able to hear. We can't hear on what we're playing, but you should be able to hear. It's going to start the Cowboy Bebop music
right now.
Yeah, like it's playing the theme song, and it plays all the different anime theme songs to these different animes.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, Spike. Unfortunately, Faye is not a different character in this game, but she shows up for these different attacks. So you do get to see more than just the one Cowboy Bebop character, even though there's only one unit for it.
Wow.
Bobby, this is not a game for everyone. This is not a game for anyone.
I don't know.
But it's kind of a game for me.
I think there's probably people out there who love this.
Even though it has shortcomings, and boy does it have shortcomings, there's something really cool about this game. I love these battle animations so much. I like making this team and tinkering around with them. I like the really difficult I use a guide when I play these games, and not because they're hard. I use a guide to see how to unlock all the stuff.
Sure, because there's so much.
So on this one, in my playthrough, I don't have access to Master Asia. You only get him for this map, and then he goes away again.
Okay.
But you can gain points that are hidden, and you gain points by doing different things. If I attack him with a very specific character in a very specific chapter, I'll gain a point.
Okay.
And then if I get to a later chapter in this game and I'm at some point threshold, which again, hidden in the game, but I can count outside of the game or look at the sheet and say, okay, I did that. Right. If I had 6 Master Asia points, then the scenario will change a little bit and Master Asia will join my team.
And he's a badass.
And his mech is a pretty big badass. I find that a lot of those hidden characters are usually the evil people in the animes that they're a part of.
Right.
So, like, hey, we're all good guys on this team, but I've said, like, okay, these guys, like, oh, I guess you helped me out, so you're okay. I'm going to help you fight this big bad of enemies.
So, if they're...
Look at this mech, Bobby. Just look at this stupid thing.
I mean, it's wild.
It's
like a fancy juggernaut.
I love it.
So, this game came out this year?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, came out this year. It will net you 60 plus shipping, which is a big shipping charge.
Yep. It's not too bad.
Okay.
I think I ended up paying $80 total for this game.
It's got English subtitles, and it's got a lot for people who have a wide range of anime fandom. Mm-hmm. It's a crossover event.
It's definitely the biggest crossover of all time. Don't at me, Avengers.
Don't at me, Avengers. So you've got quite a bit of time in it. Do you think you'll finish this game this year?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say I'll absolutely finish it. Yes, I think I absolutely will finish it this year because I just play this game a lot. I would say I know it's taken a while for us to do this, and we haven't really been playing the game as much as we've just been showing different mechanics and systems this thing has. But I would say it takes me around 45 minutes to an hour to beat each chapter.
Okay.
Which leaves you with, kind of a 50-hour game. There are side scenarios that you can unlock by doing specific things, so it's usually more than 50. And some battles take way longer than other battles. But just look at these combat animations. He pulls out a sword.
Laser sword.
He just cuts this dude. It's so good. He's got little swords on his feet. He's got this weird chain.
I mean, that's gotta kill him, right?
Apparently it didn't. And now this guy will get to try to attack me. He'll probably miss because the Kai-Kai's pretty good. Playing this game, playing X, made me want to go back and actually watch some of these animes. And some of them are not great. Some of them are pretty fun, though. I gotta say, I'm not actually the biggest anime fan.
Right.
But I've had enough fun. I think this game, playing this series and then playing other stuff, watching other stuff, has made me more of a fan of anime.
Sure, you're experiencing it.
She's shooting bullets out of her bunny butt
yeah.
pom-pom.
I saw that. That's where the rockets go.
You can also just skip battle animations, which you shouldn't, because why are you playing this game? Because the animations are the best part. It's a lot. It's a lot, Bobby.
I see that. Well, Chase, I don't know if I will necessarily dive into this.
You shouldn't.
I don't think I will.
But if this is your kind of game, if you like Fire Emblem, if you like Advance Wars, if you really like these chess-based strategic kind of games, and you really like to tinker, I would definitely recommend it, and I certainly would recommend it with some sort of guide. There's plenty of wikis out there that have all these games. Like there's a lot of these games to play as well.
Nice.
It's if you can deal with the bullshit, there's a lot of stuff to like.
Fair. Now, you run your podcast, Gamers on the Go.
I do.
Now that this is on the Switch, is this a candidate?
I mean, technically, the last one was on Vita, so I could have called that one as well. No, this one's not a candidate because no one else will play this game, so I won't have a guest to actually come on and talk with me about it.
Okay.
This will have to be saved for the podcast that we do together, the Casual Hour with our friend Johnny, and I'll just have to tell you more about.
Yeah, I need updates on like where did the rockets come from on this mech and what was going on. Like
this Gundam has like a hula hoop.
That looks like a Sailor Moon.
Kinda. She's like. I think she's also from G Gundam. G Gundam's supposed to be weird. Bobby.
This is weird. This is out of my element, man.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, if you want to find other videos, please take a look on my channel. I have a few other things posted there. I also have a lot of smaller reviews that you can find on my Instagram channel, which is Lumberjack Smacked. If there is a game that you want me to play, or you want Chase and I to play through, or if you want to see more Super Robot Wars, email me, bobby@lumberjacksmack.com, and let me know what you think. And we will play some more games. But as Chase mentioned, the Casual Hour is another podcast I'm also on the Nerdy Bits Bounty Board, where we talk each week about the current trends in video game news. But I appreciate you listening in and hanging out with us tonight. And Chase, this has been an experience.
It's been informative.
It's been an informative experience.
I think you're an anime fan now.
I should probably just get on Amazon right now and order some stuff.
Chibity hates to admit it, but the old man's damn good.
He's damn good. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, Chase. Thanks again for taking us through this. And tune in next time.